Hey Mattman fans! Merry Christmas, Happy New Year! Whatever you may celebrate, we wish you a happy one. Today, we'll be reviewing Klaus #1! Whoopee! I think I broke my ankle. Hey guys, today we'll be reviewing Klaus #1. This book was written by Grant Morrison, and this book was illustrated by Dan Mora. If you don't know who Grant Morrison is, he's a very famous comic book writer.
I'm kind of a big deal.
He's big on mythology. He wrote a book, Super Gods. He's big on the idea that characters written in comic books are like the modern day mythological beings. Mercury and Apollo, the messenger of the gods, the Flash. And he'll be the first to tell you that. When Grant Morrison was writing All-Star Superman, he was coming up with the idea of what's a character that everybody knows but can be rewritten. Their origin story, their year one, if you will. So he went with Jesus. That didn't work. Just kidding. So he thought to himself, Santa Claus. Everybody knows Santa Claus. And everybody has a version of a Santa-like figure. But this is Klaus. This is the origin story of a character, and it's a great one. It says on the cover 1 of 6. It's actually of 7. This is a very good book. It's a fun book. And I say book over comic book because the art by Dan Mora only elevates the story written by Grant Morrison. It is a very beautiful book.
That belongs in a museum.
Inside, it doesn't just say art done by Dan Mora. It says illustrated by Dan Mora. The story starts out simple. It's the dead of winter in a very cold Norse-Germanic part of the world. It's around medieval times, you say, and it's very cold. And it starts with a close-up on this figure. Santa Claus is coming to town. Wrong key. Doesn't matter. Whee! He's a fur trader. He's a barbaric guy. He's so badass, he doesn't have sleeves. And he's bringing furs to town. He comes to this city, Grimsvig, and it reminded me of like a Skyrim-esque kind of town.
I used to be an adventurer like you, and I took an arrow in the knee.
So he goes into the bar, asks the bartender, where is everybody, why isn't everybody having fun? He's like, everybody's working in the coal mines. And of course, if it's a story about Santa Claus, there's got to be a beeline story about coal. Funny enough, they never really get on giving coal to bad children, but I think that's for another book and another time. So he goes outside and he sees a kid playing with a rock. The guards are like, hey kid, you can't play with those rocks. And the kid's like, the soldier smacks the kid, and Klaus doesn't like that. He freaks out. He starts beating up the guy, and then all the other town watch come over and beat the crap out of Klaus. Not so badass for the man with no sleeves. So they tie him up and they throw him out of town, and in a kind of like Beyond Thunderdome kind of deal, they push him out into exile. They don't chase him or throw him into the prison. They let him walk into the wilderness and see how far he can get before either they get him or the beasts get him. So they're kind of toying with him, they're playing with him. They're not very nice guys. Just when the town watch catches up to Klaus, he gives out a giant whistle, and out of the nowhere comes this great white wolf. And it scares off the guys, and it turns out it's his wolf. It's his wolf Lele. That's his homegirl. It's his #1. And then we jump cut to Lord Magnus, the antagonist of the series, into his hold inside the city, his keep, his castle. He walks in on his son Jonas, and he's the only kid in town allowed to have toys. Because he's not allowed to leave the house. They say he's sickly, but it's just to make sure no one else has fun. But the only problem is the kid's a punk, and he's breaking all the toys because they're useless, they're not fun. I think it's just because the kid's a douche. That's just me. And he sits down with his wife and his son, Jonas. His wife, she's not into anything about Lord Magnus, and she's totally not about the life she has. She's very full of regret, she's full of remorse. So they're sitting down at a loveless dinner in the dead of winter. And then it cuts back to Klaus being a badass, killing a giant deer with his bare hands and a wolf. And then they turn it into a stew, and he starts playing the flute. Klaus is trying to figure out how he can save Yuletime, which is kind of like a festive pagan Christmas kind of deal that everybody celebrates. But they're, by law, not allowed to celebrate in the town because Lord Magnus is a dingus.
Dangus.
Vegas. Vegas is a city.
Dangus.
Dangus. I'm not sure what Dangus means.
Dangus means you're front naughty.
And then we see the mastery of Dan Mora's art. He literally kicks it up to 11.
These go to 11.
And just in a Grant Morrison kind of way, goes complete psychedelic. And this is where the book kicks it into overdrive. It's really friggin' cool. He starts seeing all these, I think it's like the ghosts of Yuletime, the spirits of Yuletime, the fairies. I guess these are supposed to be the elves. They look like aliens, to be honest. It's not a criticism. It's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing, it's just an observation. They kick it into overdrive with Klaus. He wakes up the next morning and he's like, why are my hands hurt? And he looks down at his feet and he just sees hundreds upon hundreds of toys. Oh shit, what the crap? Where did all these toys come from? What am I supposed to do now? And yeah, this is a really strong start for an amazing series. I highly recommend this series. If you have a small kid, this would be great. If you're looking for fun, even better. You can get this in trade. It's a nice bound book, or you can get them in single issues. Either way, do it to a kid. This is great. You should take a shot on this book because it's a real bullseye. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please click that like button, subscribe to these videos. I get comics weekly. I read them daily. I just love comics. And I really like talking them with you guys. So please in the comments let me know what you think of this video. What should I review next? This is Mattman. And I'm Ollie from Mattman Comics. Have a very Merry Christmas. Or whatever you celebrate. I'm wishing a happy one for me and mine to you and yours. Take it easy, everybody. We're gonna be coming at you hard in 2017. Thanks for watching, okay? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.